Now, atrial natriuretic peptide. Atrial natriuretic peptide is a great idea. First of all, it's such a cool name, right? Where does it come from? I think it's from the atria. Yeah, is it a peptide hormone or a steroid hormone? Peptide, atrial natriuretic peptide. And natriuretic? Oh, what a great name. Natrium. Natrium is the ancient Greek word for sodium. What you and I call sodium is really natrium. Okay. Natriuretic. What a great word. Makes you urinate out sodium. Salt pee. Salty pee. Salt pee. Natriuretic. Why not call it salty pee? Natriuretic. I like that. Not natural. There's no U in there. So atrial natriuretic peptide comes out of the heart. Why? Where does it stretch? Where do you feel the largeness of things? In your heart. Alhamdulillah. There it is. I feel the largeness of things in my heart. Right? Or Walt Whitman, I have understood the large hearts of heroes. Yes, atrial natriuretic peptide. So you feel it there in the heart from the stretch, and it gets synthesized and it makes your body urinate out salt and water. Stretch and salt make you urinate out the stretch and the salt. Now, atrial natriuretic peptide, although it is a great idea, great name, has not turned out to be too useful in terms of clinical medicine, although I have the two questions for you. The first question is, what do you do when does it the answer therapeutically? We can use atrial natriuretic peptide therapeutically in people who are admitted with pulmonary edema and congestive heart failure. Acute pulmonary edema, we can use it therapeutically. There's a drug that's artificial atrial natriuretic peptide called nesiritide. Nesiritide. Not too efficacious. Pretty much the same place you would think of nitroglycerin. Okay. Next question for you about atrial natriuretic peptide is diagnostically. A woman comes to the emergency department, she's acutely short of breath. The x-ray is unclear and unreadable. She's short of breath, she's hypoxic, she's at a high respiratory rate, dyspnea. And you can't read the x-ray and you're not sure if is it from pneumonia, congestive failure, pulmonary embolus, pneumonia, congestive failure, pulmonary embolus, COPD, pneumonia, pulmonary embolus, congestive failure. I can't read it. What test can you use to distinguish the etiology? Atrial natriuretic peptide level, sometimes known as a BNP, brain natriuretic peptide. Therapeutically, ANP can be used in congestive failure to increase the diuresis. Diagnostically, this is a great question for what happens when you're not certain why someone's short of breath. The level goes up in congestive failure. The level goes up in congestive failure. Next, the atrial natriuretic peptide may dilate the afferent arteriole. If you dilate the afferent arteriole, what does that do to glomerular filtration rate? It increases it. What does dilating the afferent arteriole do to the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular capillary? Does it increase it or decrease it? I dilate the afferent arteriole. The hydrostatic pressure inside the glomerular capillary. Does it go up or down? It goes up. That means an increased hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular capillary is the same as saying more filtration. Get rid of the water. More filtration. The major force favoring filtration, your mantra for today is, to all my friends in Hyderabad and beyond, Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. Satyam Jayate. Truth shall prevail. So your mantra for glomerular filtration is Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. That's your renal mantra. Okay? Check my profile, shadi.com. Okay? So the thing is that when you dilate the afferent arteriole, it increases flow into the glomerular capillary, it increases hydrostatic pressure, and you filter and get rid of the water. Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. Now, when you constrict the efferent, af and ef, af and ef are just $5 Latin words for to and from. To and from. So, When you dilate the afferent, you increase GFR. When you constrict the efferent, what happens to your hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular capillary? When you constrict the efferent, the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular capillary will go up. The more you increase the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular capillary, the more you will favor the forces of filtration. Om Namah hydrostatic pressure. So atrial natriuretic peptide is basically saying this. Anytime we feel a stretch in your atria, we get atrial natriuretic peptide. It makes you urinate out more water, and also with its sodium. Thank you very much. It can be used therapeutically for a person who has congestive heart failure. It can be used diagnostically for people who are short of breath and I can't make a determination. Next slide. Now, atrial natriuretic peptide gets rid of sodium loss. Remember, sodium loss is the same as natriuresis. Means the same exact thing. And what it also does is just inhibits salt and water in the collecting duct. Well, there it is. You can't reabsorb salt and water, you get natriuresis. Thank you. Now, this question here about physiologic importance is not known. What that means is we've never described a deficiency disease. This middle blurb here, it says physiologic importance of ANP is not known. That's because there is no disease that's ever been described that says, oh my God, you're coming in with ANP deficiency syndrome, presenting with nothing. There is no disease that we've yet described for atrial natriuretic peptide deficiency. And there is no disease yet described of atrial natriuretic peptide excess. What we tend to know about normal is determined based on pathology of too much, too little. That's how we sort of learn about ourselves as humanity, right? When we do something too much or too little, we find out what the right thing to do is. So there's no deficiency disease and there's no excess disease. So we don't know what it would do it for. Now there are other organs like that, there are hormones like this. Can you name another hormone where it's there, it has an effect, but we don't know what it does in the normal person because there's no deficiency ever described? Male pattern hair loss. And besides that, calcitonin is another good example. Calcitonin inhibits osteoclasts. What's its normal physiologic role? Well, there's no calcitonin deficiency disease described. There's no calcitonin excess deficiency described. The same way growth hormone deficiency. You can be deficient in growth hormone, it doesn't really do very much to you. Atrial natriuretic peptide makes you urinate out salt and water, but we don't know what to do with it the rest of the time.